Hey, what's up, you guys? Elodie Jacob here to bring you my review of Season 2 of Marvel's Daredevil on Netflix. I just finished the season last night. I mean, I know I was way behind some people, I didn't binge watch it the first day it was out or anything like that. I took my time and watched, 2 to 3 episodes at a time, really, or like one before work or something like that. But, just because I like to take my time with it, and take it all in slowly and enjoy it little by little, doesn't mean I enjoyed it any less. And let me tell you, I enjoyed the hell out of this season. An absolutely incredible season. Fantastic in practically every way, I think. Was it better than Season 1? As good as Season 1 was, as fondly as I still look upon what that started, I'll have to say Season 2 was just that much better, actually. I think it was quite a bit better. Now that Season 1 was bad, just that Season 2 just builds on everything they did with that and, improves upon it, I think. The cast, this isn't going to be an overly long review, by the way, because I do have to go into work in a little bit, so I have to kind of fit some other things into then before I go. But let me start by saying the cast, it continues to be great on the show. Of course, our usuals from Season 1, Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock, Daredevil. Very good, as always, very good, just like he was in Season 1. He gives such a consistent performance. I really appreciate how he handles that. I really appreciate the quality and the dedication he puts into the character. As good as he was in Season 1. And, some people... I did watch Jeremy John's review of Season 2, and I forget if there's a comment somewhere, someone somewhere anyway said that Daredevil sort of took a back seat this season to what was going on with Elektra and the Hand and the Punisher storyline, and that might be kind of true. The focus was kind of shifted away from it a little bit. But at the same time, the whole Hand and Elektra thing are very much Daredevil-esque storylines, or big storylines that he's heavily involved in. So it's not like it was just solely focused on the Punisher story. And, maybe we could have gotten a little bit more, crossovers with the whole Punisher and Hand storyline. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that. But other than that, I thought the storyline itself was very well done. On both ends of it. But as I said, Charlie Cox continues to be very good. And Eldon Henson as Foggy Nelson. He's just as likable as he was in Season 1. The character is probably even more enjoyable this season, I think. Because the story gets a lot more freedom with him because he now knows about, Matt being Daredevil and stuff. So they're still sort of going through different things about him knowing that. And as Matt has to sort of divert his attention from certain cases, when he starts dealing with Elektra again, stuff like that, they just kind of shift away from each other even more. It's an interesting process to watch, but at the same time, Foggy can still make for a pretty good comic relief, and he's still a very likable character, so he's good as always, too. Deborah Ann Woll as Karen Page, I would say the character is even more improved compared to Season 1. She was fine in Season 1. She's definitely a pretty good actress, pretty good in the role. But I would say the character became even more relevant than she was in Season 1 this season. Because I did like how involved she got with the whole Frank Castle debate and what went on with that. The whole storyline there, I like how much she got involved with that. And also liked her working on the paper with Ellison. So I really liked her performance again, and of course with Matt telling her who he actually is at the end, if they do a Season 3, she's going to be even more of a factor, I think. She's going to be brought into, more of the central focus and stuff, too. And yeah, before I forget about him, I did want to mention Ellison, too, of course, the head of the paper Ben Urich was working at. A very disliked character in Season 1 for obvious reasons. Because of how much he opposed Urich, and for a while it was thought that he was the one the corrupt one working alongside Fisk and not telling certain stories a certain way for his sake. But no, it turned out it wasn't the mole, he wasn't the rat or anything like that. And I really liked how subtly we seen him affected by Eric's death. It was obvious that he did sort of shift gears, and it sort of did make him rethink certain things about himself and the way he's doing things, and the way or the reason why he got into what he's doing in the first place. Sure, he was like a small factor compared to the bigger scope of the storyline that was going on this season, but I still found him to be actually ended up being a very likable character. I liked him quite a bit, actually, and I appreciated him helping out Karen a lot, for the memory of Yurik and giving her a place at his work. So that was pretty cool. And of course, I definitely have to talk about the two big new characters that were introduced, or the new versions of the characters that were introduced. But before we get into that, I also did like seeing Scott Glenn as Stick again. He gives a very good performance as always, and I like the dynamic between him and Matt, as well as the one we see between him and Elektra. But anyway, the two characters that people were most concerned about going into this season, or that people were going to pay most attention to going into this season, of course, Elektra and the Punisher. I have a lot to say about the Punisher, but we'll talk about Elektra first. Elodie Yung as Elektra, she did a great job. I really liked her this season. I cannot really see any actress doing any better than she did at this point. I thought the character was really interesting too. I really like this version of her, and she's very much like a Catwoman to Matt's Batman in a way, if you know what I mean by that. They have such a strong bond and connection, but at the same time they get so divided when it comes to crossing certain lines, or they're still going down different paths. They started at similar points, but now they're sort of going like that. But at the same time, they have this bond that will always be there no matter what happens between them, and I really thought that was well handled. But yeah, great performance by Elodie Yung. I thought I would definitely like to see her come back in season 3, or have her be brought into the Defenders or something. That might be a decent idea. Let's see, and I'm going to talk more about the general storyline after I get done talking about the cast specifically. And yeah, I'm tired. I did stay up until almost 4 last night. Anyway, and the big one I wanted to talk about this time is Jon Bernthal as Frank Castle, the Punisher. He just gave such a fantastic performance, man. I don't know how else to say it. I still love Thomas Jane in the role. Thomas Jane is still probably my favorite Punisher, to be completely honest, but I thought Bernthal's version was absolutely great too. I'm willing to accept him as a new Punisher, and I think he did a great job, and I really, really hope he gets a spin-off. I thought Bernthal was able to show every side of the character very well, from how cold, brutal, and sort of removed he can be, and menacing at the same time in certain situations. Also showing the emotional tragedy of what actually happened to him. I thought that was all really well done. The whole trial thing about Frank Castle, we got to see the debate about what he's actually doing. Of course, Matt and Karen sort of ended up disagreeing on it, and we could see how divided the people actually are. Some people are actually calling him a hero and doing what the cops can't, and others are just disgusted by him and things like that. But my favorite acting scene of the season was episode 4, Penny and Dime, when it's Matt and Frank, or Daredevil and Frank, sitting in the cemetery, and Frank just starts talking about his daughter, and he's tearing up, and I'll admit, I started tearing up. I cried a little bit, I'll admit. Just such a well-acted scene by Jon Bernthal. I think Bernthal deserves an Emmy. A couple of them for this. Just a really well-acted version of the character, I thought. And one I think definitely deserves to get his own show. And we got some signs of that at the end, I think, or at least for him to reappear again at some point, so I appreciate that. Also, I have to talk about... Spoilers is in the title, okay? So if you get mad at me for telling you this now, it's not really my fault. But Kingpin, or Wilson Fisk, reappearing this season was really awesome to see. That was at the end of episode 8, I think, going into episode 9. I just thought they handled that really well. He actually got a lot more focus than I expected him to. I expected him to just have like a short one scene or something like that, but he actually got some really good stuff this season without making him the sole focus again. So I really, really liked that, and I liked how he was trying to use Punisher as a way to, sort of get himself free, or to let himself gain more control of the prison he was in. I like how they move the pieces like that. And that prison fight scene with Frank taking down all those guards, and not all the guards, but all the prisoners in the cell block, just really, really brutal, with the blood all over his face and his clothes afterward. Of course, when Kingpin tried to kill him, and of course we did get a little bit of a fight between Frank and Kingpin, and of course Frank was already kind of beaten, and he was handcuffed for part of the time. But it's still cool to see that Punisher was able to land some shots on Fisk, and it seemed like he would have a chance against him in a real fight. And I liked that despite them sort of both having to go down different paths and using this situation to their advantage for their own main goals at this point, I still liked Punisher warning Fisk that the next time they see each other, only one of them is going to walk away. So I like that, alluding to the future those two characters are going to have together. So I really, really like that. And I also want to say that I really liked how Frank developed his code as it went along. He was just really, the way they wrote his whole honor system and the way Karen looked into him more and more, I really appreciated. There's just so much I want to say about Bernthal on the show. He is just great. And yeah, I could just gloat about him repetitively for the next 20-30 minutes or so. Not gloat, but just gush, I guess I should say, whatever. Also, the action on the show, I definitely have to talk about. The fight scenes are continuing to be choreographed really, really well. Realistic yet very entertaining, comic book wise at the same time, that what you'd expect, but yet still grounded in a certain realism to a certain degree. Of course, we had a new version of the hallway fight scene with the staircase scene, and I thought that was really well shot. Just the way the camera moved along with Daredevil, I thought was really cool. And the Punisher and Daredevil fights themselves are pretty awesome too. And of course, all the stuff with like Daredevil fighting the Hand, or Daredevil and Elektra fighting the Hand, were all really awesome. And of course, I thought Nobu being one of the leaders of the Hand, or at least at this point, him being resurrected, was a good tie into season 1. And of course, with Elektra being killed at the end because she is hailed as the Black Sky. We all know how that goes. Elektra usually does die, but she's always resurrected, and we got hint to that at the end, which is why I think they are going to bring her back if a season 3 is done, or maybe they'll bring her into the Defenders again. I don't know what the main threat's going to be with the Defenders, but we'll see. But yeah, Elektra is just really great in the show in general, and I liked the whole storyline of Frank eventually going after his old corporal, or the guy he fought with in the war, who ended up being tied in as the blacksmith, and the whole conspiracy to what happened when his family was killed around the carousel in Central Park. That whole sting operation, I liked how Frank went about that. He got to the guy at the end, and I really liked the guy that played the corporal too. I thought he did a good job. I even liked him in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake and stuff like that. I forget his name at this point. Let me just see if I can look it up real quick. Let's see. I clicked it, but apparently it didn't work. Yeah, let me see here. Just give me another second, guys. I apologize. Yeah, Clancy Brown. He did a really good job too, and I like the twist about him, being more tied to it than we realize. So I liked him as like the respectable guy Frank fought in the war with, and I like what he had to say about him. But then, of course, it was a good twist to see Frank actually confront this guy too. And of course, I like seeing Frank using the spray paint on the chest again, to make the skull. I really like the design to it. So I really like that. And Frank helping out Daredevil at the end is pretty cool. Seeing him snipe a view of the Hand as he was confronting Nobu is really awesome to see. See you around, Red. I like how he called him Red throughout the season. That was really awesome. I like the whole interrogation scene in episode 4, or where the leader of the Irish mob, who is played by the guy who played Marcus in Underworld Evolution, which is pretty awesome to see him on this show. I thought he did a good job too, by the way. Just seeing how Bernthal portrayed Frank's extremely high pain tolerance, I thought that was really awesome to see, and to see Frank brutally kill them all, or at least him at the end, was really awesome too. But yeah. Anyway, overall, a fantastic season. I'm sure there's plenty of things I didn't talk about enough, or things I didn't mention, so feel free to leave comments below. I'd love to talk about more with you guys, but overall, it's an incredible season. It topped season 2 as good as it topped season 1 as good as season 1 was. Season 2 is just fantastic and phenomenal all the way through. As much as I like things like Arrow after seeing season 1 of that, I have to say this is definitely the best live-action comic book superhero-related series out there right now, by far. So, yeah. I'll catch you guys next time. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Movie Pilot, look for InSwilldid.com. Wow, it's just an amazing season. I hope they do a season 3, and I hope for a Punisher spinoff, please. Catch you guys next time.